Hi all, Chris here from Audio Discovery. Wanted to ramble at you for a little bit about creativity. Um, in having discussions with friends of mine over the course of the last few weeks, there has been lots of discussions bandied about creativity, sort of hitting the wall with, feeling unproductive with creativity, etc. And I guess wanted to share my thoughts. And, in trying to do this over the last course of, the times that I've shot, failed videos over and over again, one of the things I think is having concrete inspirations. So say for instance, like, oh, I have this band that I listen to or this artist, etc. Now those are good things, and obviously, like, you take any inspiration or take any influence and utilize them, milk all of that creativity as much as you possibly can. Sound like all of your, if you're a big fan of, X, Y, and Z artists, etc., sound like them. Feel free to sound like them, but grow, right? Okay. So, because obviously copycats are a thing. That's okay though, because realistically it's needed to get yourself out of like a certain zone. Just make sure that you find your voice and all that. Okay. That being said, is that inspiration is something that is not concrete. It doesn't come from any one place. It doesn't come from thin air, but sometimes it comes from thin air. And the acknowledgement of that, I think, it makes me want to tell people, be open to the experience. Be open to inviting all of these different things to come and utilize you as as a vessel for the idea. And this comes, like say for instance, if you're a guitar player that's having a hard time figuring out a guitar line that's, melody line or whatever, maybe put down the guitar, maybe pick up a piano, maybe pick up a piano. Do that. Pick up a piano. Don't hurt your back. Yeah, pick up a piano. Pick up, sing it. You know, uh, listen to something, or go outside and imagine what would a bird do, in this kind of thing, or what, um, pull all of these different ideas from wherever you can. I think one of the things, and I've had writer's block before. I've had it where I couldn't think of any ideas. I couldn't, you know, go to the drawing board. And there's challenges that I've had. I've been trying to compose some meditation music for a friend of mine that's 15 minutes long, and I get wrapped up in the fact that it's repetitive. Okay, it's repetitive. So that's the criteria that I got to work with. How repetitious do I want it to be? What am I doing in order for this repetitious cycle, because I was thinking, okay, well, if I just compose in cycles and let the cycles, like in a song, right? Like any song has a cycle that it goes through because, music has it's naturally repetitious. It's got a rhythm, it's got a heartbeat. You got to it revolves. But the thing is that I got caught up in the fact that I didn't think that it was, that it was impressive enough. So anyhow, yeah, and I think that these kinds of things, being able to sort of step away from the thought, or from that initial concept and say, okay, you know what? This is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to try and attempt. And in the attempt, you can either find what you're looking for, or once you get to the point where you've developed the answer, then think back to that process and how'd you accomplish that? And if you can employ that again, or if you employed a previous, process to get to that point, well, hey, now you've got something concrete. Now you've uh, confirmed that that works, and that's a good thing. So in the creative space that you work with, think about how you can maybe take some time away from the space, come back to it, and have some new, fresh ideas. How do you get those ideas from outside into your space? And so there's a lot of different techniques that you can use to sort of get out of what you would consider being regular thought process, like a regularly creative, this is what I do to be creative. Okay, if you're in a part where that's not working, you can try something else. So the idea is that the inspirations that we have, right, we can open up the potential for other things to be inspiring. Uh, engine sounds, nature sounds, engine sounds. I'm by a road, so pretty much I think a lot of us are. Things that are mechanical, things that are within the household, things that are outside, things we could imagine. I mean, even if we were to think, what would it sound like for a planet to hit or like an asteroid to hit a planet on on Saturn, it's gas planet, okay, so that's going to have this, what does it sound like, Can you create that on your musical instrument of choice? The concept of an asteroid hitting a gas giant. And, maybe that's the approach to take in order to, like, okay, you know what, let me, this guitar melody, I was trying to think of something, that was going to come. Let's try to reach out into space. But a lot of these things, I think, are very abstract. They're not concrete. They're not things like, yeah, use the, F major scale, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because it's there already. Okay, fine. But think about concepts, maybe think about, like, what would it sound like inside of a molecular, accelerator, a particle accelerator, sorry. What would it sound like, what would it sound like to be in the chamber of like what would it be like to be in like an 18th century castle getting stormed by the peasants? Like what's the musical explanation? Like how can so I think that has a lot to do with just being able to, like, have these playful ideas and think, pretend. You got to pretend. You got to think beyond what is in front of you. And at the same time, you're still at the mercy of the the Western musical, the Western musical system. You're still at the mercy of frequencies and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but I think if we get outside of that a little bit, I think that would be sort of beneficial. Also, you still got the rock legends, you still have jazz legends, you still got a lot, where do they meet, where do the celestial bound, come from the stars and inspire us to do these things. I think that being able to harness that kind of stuff, I think it requires us to step outside of ourselves a bit and be imaginative in ways that maybe we hadn't let ourselves. So anyhow, I think that's pretty much my end ramble on that. So enjoy creating, and we'll see you soon. All right. Thanks. Take care.